Welcome to DonaldWaugh.com. My name is Donald Waugh. Today we are at the NAMM Show Boutique Guitar Showcase at NAMM 2017, Summer NAMM 2017. This is probably the most interesting booth we've showcased so far, and we have Jamie's going to tell us all about what's happening here.
Sure. Thank you, Donald, for coming by. Yeah, the Boutique Guitar Showcase is really an example of what guitar makers are doing today. So when we see the industry that's built up with a long history, these are about innovations that have happened in history, happened in 1937, in 1957, 1985, and have become a pop culture at this point in time. But it's not a really clear example of what is happening today as far as guitar makers are concerned. So the Boutique Guitar Showcase is about guitar makers from around the world who are doing what I call unique world-class instruments. So the Boutique Guitar Showcase is an example of guitars from around the world.
So tell us about what's happening along here. I'm noticing it's very beautiful, very amazing guitars. What's happening over here?
Yeah, sure. So, I mean, we can just walk around the booth if you'd like.
Sure.
This is Michael Spalt from Vienna, a fantastic guitar maker who has a history in writing and film and fine arts. And you'll see all of that shows up in his instruments. Who's building guitars here with historical artifacts, interesting pieces that he collects just throughout life, rummaging through flea markets and different places. And he builds them into instruments through assemblage and collage and layers them up with resin. There's a three-dimensional effect is what's happening here. Really incredible guitar maker, one-off original pieces the whole way through. Beside Michael is Sheldon Dingwall from Canada. Sheldon is a famous guitar maker who is really working with the fan sort of fret system where each string has a different scale length. You know, if we imagine the violin is smaller than the cello is smaller than a contrabass, because each scale or each octave sort of range has an ideal scale length. Well, that really can apply in a microcosm within one instrument, and that's what's happening with the multiple scales happening within the Dingwall instrument. Beside the Dingwalls are Emerald Guitars from Ireland, who's the first carbon fiber guitar manufacturer that I'm aware of who's really doing custom work. Generally speaking, carbon fiber guitars have, large molds, a very industrial process, and they try and do high quantities of one sort of size. These guys are doing incredible things with short scale 12-string guitars, 5-string basses with extended bodies that has a really great depth to it. They do double neck guitars, they do all sorts of amazing things, and frankly at very reasonable prices for custom made guitars here. Beside them is Doug Cower from Northern California. Doug has a great way of taking sort of classic American designs and adding his own touch to them. Wonderful quality instruments that really sort of stay well rooted within the Americana tradition. Beside that is Rainer Tausch. Rainer's instruments are from Germany, from Bavaria. He's actually right in between all the major car manufacturers, between Mercedes and Audi and BMW. An incredible guitar maker who has a traditional looking guitar with all sorts of unique features. Carved from a chambered pearwood body, which comes from a local farmer for him. A Pau Ferro tremolo block, set neck, flamenco scale length. Looks really traditional, but it has a lot of unique features that it's more than meets the eye.
Wow, that's beautiful.
Beside him, we have a turquoise top guitar from Zerber's Guitars in Germany. The first guitar maker that I'm aware of to put precious stones for his tops. Really cool, interesting designs. Beside that is Donovan Lee Guitars, which is an experiment in comfortable luxury. These guys want to have an organic feel, a super, super thin finish, a very woody sound. Something, if you imagine the Queen on safari in the middle of nowhere drinking the finest cognac, is a Donovan Lee. John Sully here from Texas. A wonderful sort of keeping well rooted in the tradition of the hard rock and metal guitars of the early 80s, the Grover Jacksons and Charvels, with a modern adaptation of them. Great playing, great sounding, sort of straight up rock and roll guitars. Next to that is Sauvage from Paris, France. This is an incredible one-piece guitar. The entire guitar was carved out of that piece of wood. The neck,
wow.
The body, it's chambered, everything. Incredible designs. They're doing custom pickups, throwbacks to sort of vintage cars happening in there, and the lines, Japanese steel above the nut there. Really an incredible concept, follow through to final production. Sauvage is someone to be watching for. Beside that is Diego Villa from Madrid, Spain. Diego is again making some guitars with some great sort of throwbacks and sort of vintage stylings, putting in some traditional Spanish painting here, some sort of mid-century sort of design happening with the bass. Wonderful instruments. Next to him is Giulio Negrini guitars, or G&G guitars, Swiss-Italian, so Italian heritage in Switzerland. Really, Giulio is doing some of the most incredible of the modern sort of metal guitars. If you're looking to play faster, cleaner, better, you know, this is the type of customers that he has here. Some incredible features that are happening within them. This guitar here actually has a piece of a meteorite that's being carved in and put into the guitar. The one beside it here is a customer's request who says he wants his partner on the guitar, and so that's his, I'm not sure whether it was his girlfriend or his wife, but the point is that's his partner there in it. Where Giulio actually studied with the master of inlay, William Grit Laskin from Toronto, to sort of learn the techniques of doing this, and very well applied here. Next to him, we have Willem Engström from Sweden, who makes an incredible sort of throwback, sort of Delta, Mississippi Delta sort of blues resonator guitar with some really unique features. This is a short scale model here for high tunings. The one beside with electronics. Super cool, vibey. We think of old blues, but frankly, I'd love to see you play anything on this. Beside that, we have Pensa guitars, which are rare to see ever at a trade show. Rudy Pensa, one of the most famous music stores in New York City. The Sewer guitar brand, which is one of the larger guitar brands around right now, actually had their start here with Pensa Sewer. Guys like Mark Knopfler and Christian McBride have been playing these guitars for years, but they've never been for sale anywhere besides Rudy's music store. And so this is a unique opportunity to see them in Nashville. Beside that, we have Lame Horse guitars from Austin, Texas. This particular guitar, the Saddle Pal, was a customer request who said, I want an acoustic guitar of high quality that I can put in my saddlebag that sounds as big as Texas. A lot of unique features within these guys. They have a unique way of tilting their neck. Over time, acoustic guitars naturally want to implode on themselves with the tension. And so there's a lot of people trying different things with how to adjust the neck over time without having to take it off and rebuild the guitars. And they found a really cool, unique way of doing that. They also build a special little animals inset. A little stone animal is inset into each one of the guitars. You probably can't catch with your camera right now, but it'll be cool to see later on. Beside them, we have Rickers from the Netherlands, or otherwise known as Holland here in America. They have a wonderful instrument here, and their tree-line bass beside it there. You can see the natural sort of tree growing out of it here. A great sort of modern take. These guys have been around for about 30 years or so in the Netherlands and have never been shown in America before. So this is the first time for Rickers. Very well established, great sounding instruments. Beside them, we have McSwain guitars out of Portland, Oregon. A great guitar maker who's built guitars for all sorts of amazing artists like Slash from Guns N' Roses and Vernon Reid. And, these are a couple of cool people. I mean, that entirely chrome plated guitar. The buffing that must have gone into that to make it polished and clean the whole way over. Great sounding, always very rock and roll. Super cool guitars. You'll be seeing a lot more from Stephen McSwain. Then past the Rickers here, we have Enrico Di Donato guitars from Venice, Italy. This guitar here is inspired by Quentin Tarantino's Kill Bill. That color is known as Beatrix Combat Suit Yellow. And on the back of that one, you need to see there's a silhouette of Beatrix from Kill Bill, or Uma Thurman's silhouette there. It's fantastic. And beside them, we have the Dark Horse of Luthery, Randy Parsons, built in a Hells Angels clubhouse. This is number 14 of 100 limited bat guitars. That bat was made from cedar, which is approximately 1,000 years old, with a number of very cool, inspired features. Randy has built for a number of guitars for Jack White and for Jimmy Page, and a number of great collectors throughout the world and great guitar players. Super cool instrument, and frankly, at only $2,900, a Randy Parsons guitar, that is one of the steals of the entire Summer NAMM show.
That was absolutely incredible. Thank you so much, Jimmy. Really appreciate that. I didn't realize there were so many beautiful luthiers around the world that's just making these incredible instruments. And you explain it eloquently, brilliantly. Thank you. And thank you so much for joining us on DonaldWaugh.com. So much more coming up next.